everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm so happy to be filming again. It has been a while and I'm sorry about that. Things have just been crazy. I literally have 4 different jobs and then school on top of that and trying to maintain YouTube, so I'm just trying to survive here. But I really miss talking to you guys. I miss being on the camera and I missed filming like one-on-one conversations like this because I haven't really been doing that. My last video was a posing video, which you guys should check out because it was really detailed and I got so many messages saying it was so beneficial and easy to follow. You can simply pause and copy the posing, the posing. Yeah, so today's video is also going to be very insightful. So today's video is just letting you know, you aspiring models or even models who have just started modeling, letting you know how the modeling industry actually is like. So a lot of people think it's all about glam, and although part of it is, a lot of little bits and pieces a lot of people don't know about, you know, about payments, about, you know, castings, about a lot of different things. So this is kind of what I'm gonna go over today. I think there's like maybe 12 points that I want to touch base with. It's things that you should expect before getting into modeling. Alrighty, so this is my favorite one. A lot of people expect that if you do a photo shoot for a clothing company, you get to keep the clothes. You don't. You almost never get to keep the clothes. I mean, very rarely you might get to keep something, but that almost never happens. The company or the brand or the designer might really like you and want to send you a piece of clothing after your job, just as a nice gesture, but usually it would never be like, oh, you can keep the clothes that you modeled today. That usually never happens. The only other time you get to keep the clothes is actually being paid with the clothes. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you did a job for a whatever brand it is, instead of them paying you with a check or paying you through the company, through your agency, they pay you with a gift card, and the gift card is to their store only. So they call it trade in a sense. So they basically give you a gift card and you can use that gift card worth of $1,000 or less, could be more, and to use it at their clothing brand. So that's kind of they get a little bit more winnings out of it, but so do you. But that's the only really time. The next point we're going to touch base on is you're allowed to eat. Models eat, and you aspiring models are allowed to eat. Models do eat. A lot of models eat, and they go out and they have dinners and they go to after parties and they eat and they get a drink. You know, a lot of models like fast food or like healthy food. So, you know, there's models that are vegan, models that are vegetarian, models that eat everything, models that have a sweet tooth. So models do eat, and you're allowed to eat coming into this industry. And a lot of the times at shoots and castings, not castings, a lot of times at shoots, jobs, shows, they will have like little tables set out for you, especially if it's really early in the morning. They will provide like breakfast for you or lunch or whatever time your job is at. And sometimes, most of the times, it would just be snacks, so like granola bars, coffee, I don't know, whatever it could be. So they even encourage you to eat. They don't you know, expect you to not want to eat and not be hungry when you're at the job. So that brings me to my next point, which is that a lot of the times, a lot of people are always messaging me telling me, hey, does it, I weigh this much, will the agencies want me? Your weight, believe it or not, is never gonna be asked for. Almost like, I'm like 98% sure that most of agencies, clients will not ask you how much you weigh, unless your weight is really has to do with the shoot, but that's usually never asked for. So they never really look at how much you weigh. You'll never fill out your weight on an application or for a job or when you go to a job or when you go to a casting, because weight is different, right? So if you're super tall, your weight is gonna be, so a girl and I might be the same body size, but she might be taller than me, so her weight is gonna be higher. So weight isn't really such a big thing. As long as you look good, then you're fine. So weight is never asked for. So there's something called test shoots, which I have gone over multiple times, but for test shoots, a lot of you guys think that you get paid for these jobs. Test shoots are not paid. They are a collaboration. They are basically a team getting together, a team of professionals, and every person in the field is benefiting, but nobody is getting paid money wise. Everybody's benefiting with, you know, the makeup artist is putting his talents out there, the photographer is getting their photos, adding to their portfolio. Everybody's adding something to their portfolio. The model's getting experience, the model's getting her photos, improving her portfolio. So that is something that we do, and it's called test shoots, and the most famous models do it, and the up-and-coming models do it, and all the models do it, and you continue to do this during your career so you can keep building on your portfolio, because a lot of the times you either don't get the work, you don't get the photos for the jobs that you do. That's actually another thing. Wasn't gonna say this, but yeah, sometimes you don't really get the photos from your job. Sometimes you might never see them, and 90% of the times that I've ever seen my own stuff is actually through people sending it to me, whether it was like Samsung, or like I came up with someone's email, like Samsung wall screen, or I came up with someone's email. Like people send it to me and be like, hey Rowena, is this you? And most of the times I don't know, they know before me. So yeah, I guess that's another point to add in there. So the next thing, so I have like my little notebook here with the little woof. My mom bought this because we have a dog. How cute. Okay, so my next point is jobs. So we don't actually get jobs all the time. So this is something that people think that we shoot every single day. Jobs are very inconsistent in this industry, and that's why I always recommend that this is not something you should always stick by and say that this is going to be your main income and be able to support yourself 100%. A lot of models have side jobs, so jobs are very inconsistent. You don't get bookings constantly. It depends on the season, it depends on the time, it depends on a lot going on. So yeah. Okay, so when you do get a job, it takes a long time until you get paid. So it's not an immediate check. It takes around a month, 2 months, or 3 months. Sometimes it might take more, sometimes it might take less. It depends on the client, it depends on what the job was, it depends on how many people were in the job. That a lot of, you know, the client has to pay all these people, and then by the time they pay your agency, and your agency puts that through and then gets in contact with you and sends you the money, blah blah blah, it takes a while. So models don't get paid immediately, so do not expect a check to be coming in constantly. So if you do a job now, you're gonna get paid in like January, December, hopefully. So while you are applying for the jobs, meaning castings, there is a lot of waiting. This is a huge waiting industry, and not just castings, even at shows. So when you go to a casting, you have a room full of girls and guys, whatever it is. You can wait anywhere between 10 minutes if you're lucky, or 2 hours. I have waited, I think it was 3.5 hours was my worst wait, and you know, a line of girls, a group of girls, and it was very exhausting and very tiring. So there's a lot of waiting in the casting and a lot of waiting in shows. So you wait behind the scenes, so you get ready, you do your makeup, your dress, and you're sitting and waiting for everybody to come in, for the show to start, for it to be your turn. So there's a big waiting game in this. Okay, last but not least, I feel like I ran through these. Modeling ages can be very flexible. You can be anywhere from 13, 14-year-olds to like 40 and, you know, 35, 40 plus, because there's different categories for modeling. So you have to find where you fit. If you're 13, 14, you should be looking at a kids agency. If you're somewhere after that, you know, you might be able to go to an agency that hosts multiple ages. I know a couple of friends that are 30, 31, and I have younger friends. So modeling doesn't have a specific time that you should start. Out for a second, I was like, there must be more tips that I can give out here for aspiring models. And one thing I do want to say, which is actually important, is you have to have thick skin. Is that you have to have thick skin coming into this industry, because it is gonna kind of knock you in the butt every here and there. So you have to have thick skin for the industry, because there's a lot of rejection that goes on, and that happens. So you have to really be able to not let that get to you. And I know it's difficult and easier said than done, but you have to try to not let that get to you, and you have to have thick skin, because even just with castings or agencies, or even when you are a model and you do have these jobs, it's going to be tough to actually be out there between other models and between people that are constantly like going to be, you know, wanting to criticize you. And that's kind of just the world that we live in, I guess. Another thing I want to say is you're always constantly watched. So that's Another tip is you're constantly watched, so you always have to be on your A game. So what I mean by that is when you're behind the scenes in a show, sometimes there's like behind the scenes photographers or behind the scenes people that are filming, videographers, I think you call them. So you know, they're filming behind the scene footage. So like this behind the scene footage is probably going to be on Instagram stories, might be on the client's story, so it's going to be around. So you want to try to look your best, and you want to try not to be doing anything weird or you don't want anyone to see. So you're kind of always gonna be watched, so you have to look your best, be your best, and not just look. You have to, you know, the way you're speaking, you don't want to be speaking badly about somebody or be rude, so keep in mind with that. All right guys, so that's it, because I just tried to ram my brain so much to try to think of more things. So I think we are at, what did we do? So we did 8 tips that I've written down, and then we did 2 more. So I think that's 10, might have been 11, I don't know. But so it's a good number to end at this. So I hope all of these tips were beneficial and were able to give you like a little insight on the industry and into the modeling world a little bit better, because you know, things aren't always glamorous and they're not always the way they seem on photos, right? There's a lot that happens behind all of these things. So just for you to know, for you to understand, for you to see if you still do want to model with all this said. So yes, I hope this was beneficial and you can take it with you. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, I love you, take care, and remember to like if this was beneficial and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys next time.